Um, so my name is Zuhairi. Next slide, please. Oh, sorry. Using this one, right? Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. All right. I'm sure I bring the right slides. Okay, this is not a tech workshop, I know. Can anyone have a guess? If I run this code in a machine or computer, what will it print? What will be displayed? Thank you, that's my name. Oh, you won't forget my name, right? Okay. Okay, there's a gray text underneath there. It says that language. That language is the form of language that I've been using for the past 3 years when I build apps. Just a bit more on codes. If you compare the different codes in C++, a very old language, quite old, Python, a rather new one, JavaScript used for websites mainly, and Dart. You can see some similarities in terms of its structure, the words they use. So by this I mean, if you know one language, it is very easy for you to learn another language. It is related. Just like when you know Bahasa Melayu, you can learn English easier because you know the structures. It's related. I promise you this is the last one, okay? Not to stress you out. Someone here knows how to code. They're smiling at the back. Where's Vivian? Where's Vivian? Okay. Oops, sorry. Oops, may I say Vivian? Fell down already. Okay. So, okay, this one is actually a form of it has different, we are merging many lines of code into one. As you can see, the nodes there corresponds to what it does actually. So can anyone have a guess, if I run this code in a computer, what will be displayed? Nice guess. It's different this time. If you can see properly, the print statement says that is correct. Okay? So actually, if you follow closely the code, it is quite sensible for you to read code. So I wonder, coding is not hard. It's quite sensible thing to do. So people think coding as some sort of, you have to have a super natural intelligence, high-level intelligence for you to do it. It's not really that difficult. And I find it to be quite fun actually. And can be quite addictive as well. So just a bit on my background. I'm now a psychiatric medical officer, also a trainee in psychiatry. And my interest is in digital health, is in building apps. Okay, mainly for the people like you and I, for doctors, for staff, for patients. So what is coding actually? Coding simply means an act of giving instructions that a machine can understand. Writing something that a machine can understand. So it is very specific, it's very straightforward. Because I've told some of you earlier in previous online webinars, I told them that computers are stupid. Because they cannot, if you must make sure you type everything perfectly, then only they can make sense of what's going on. Okay? So that's coding. And of course, when you code, whatever you type into the machine actually is being compiled into binaries 10001, and these are all being interpreted by the compiler or the machine. So just a bit on how I started to code actually. It all began in 2014. This was when I was waiting for my housemanship placement. I have some free time, so I decided to learn how to code out of curiosity. Nothing much, just go online and go through some free resources and learn how to code. So I learned few languages such as JavaScript, Python, and just a bit of Java, just for fun actually. And then I got into housemanship. I went to Sabah, Hospital Tawau. Anyone here from Sabah? Oh, okay. Tawau was a nice place. It was a nice coastal town. Very beautiful, kind people. I enjoyed my time there for 5 years. And in 2018, while I was a psychiatric medical officer in Tower Hospital, okay, I learned different languages as well, such as Kotlin and C++. I studied Kotlin because Kotlin was used for native Android development. I will explain what's native development later a bit, just for interest. And this is when I started to build my first Android app, when I was a psychiatric medical officer. Then in 2019, I started to explore another language, Dart language, and then I learned Flutter. Flutter is very significant because right now I consider myself as a Flutter developer for the past almost 3 years. So I also learned other frameworks, technologies related to Flutter, the server side, the backend and stuff. And I built my first Flutter app at this point. Just now I've mentioned something about native and hybrid. I want to clarify this early on so you guys understand what I'm be talking about for the past 10 minutes. Okay, what is it like? Basically, when you build an app, you have two ways of doing it. First is through native, second is through hybrid. It's like you have your hybrid car, right? You can run rather on gas or rather on electricity, right? Same as building an app. You can either build an app specific for the platform. Native Android means the default way of building an Android app based on Google's recommendations because Google owns Android. Or you build an iOS app for iPhones based on what Apple's want you to do. But if you are a hybrid developer, if you build a hybrid app, that app can be deployed to all these platforms. Your code can be used in Android, in iOS, in Mac, in Windows, in websites. So this is the benefits of becoming a hybrid developer. You only code once and your code can be run in many platforms. That's the difference. So I went into hybrid development in 2019. So some have asked me what made me to code, what motivated me to code. Do I want to become like this gentleman here? Secretive, quiet, who wishes to take over the world? Okay. Rather, it's far from that. This is my work table, how I work with. So it's very practical. I buy only what I need as my investment. I have a MacBook for my workflow. I have a big monitor so that I don't have to close my windows. I have a keyboard and mouse. As you can see, there's a device there where whenever I do some stuff on the screen or when I code, I want to see the changes be reflected to the device. So that's all to it. So back to the question, what motivated me to code actually? The first was about I have a passion of automate things and making things digital. I don't like to see all these papers, nurses, compiling papers and stacking them together, stapler and stuff. Difficult, okay, stressful, everything. Can you guys just chill and let's create something like that for this? That's my style, that's my passion. Number two, I have to be honest about money, definitely it's about money. And as a psychiatric trainee in a parallel pathway, I currently working on my MRC Psych qualification, UK. The exams are darn expensive. On paper can cost up to 8,000 ringgit. Preparation, 4,000 ringgit. So how do I get money based on my government salary? Okay, I just make sure I'm not, okay. But it's true, that's the fact. So I have to find a way of earning some extra income. That's what I did. So I start to venture into building apps and try to find clients and build my own apps. And I got enough money to fund my exams. Why apps are lucrative? How can we earn money from apps? Let's give some perspective. As of early this year, we have around 6.6 billion in active use around the world. 6.6 billion smartphones in use. 83% of the world's population has smartphones. This is the market we're talking about. This is the market that how YouTubers earn money, how influencers earn money, podcasters earn money, how Instagram earn money. Because they have this very big market. So we should tap into this, right? So that basically led me into becoming an app developer as well. I'm just sharing a bit about my own journey, just a bit, whether this can inspire you to also join in my course as well, okay? Feel free to contact me after this if you're interested. So in 2019, while I was a psychiatric medical officer in Tawau Hospital, okay, this is Tawau. Okay, it's quite nice. Food is very fresh. Everything is nice. Nice sunny weather. So this is how the villages look like in Tawau. In Tawau, we have our own psychiatric community team. If anyone of you in psychiatry here, you may have known that in psychiatry, we are very keen on community service, like visits, right? Because patients, we want to see how patients stay well in their own environment, not in the hospital. So we have to do visits. But in Tawau, gosh, it's different. Literally, there are no proper addresses. You go to a pakcik and say, pakcik, rumah pakcik dekat mana? And the pakcik will say, oh, doktor, rumah jalan hujung sana, belok kiri, pintu warna biru, jalan terus, pokok mangga, belok kanan, jumpa kucing, belok kiri. So I was like, okay. We have to say to our patients, please, draw your map of your house. Very difficult to find the location, extremely difficult. That's one challenge. Number two, no phone line. We cannot call our patients. All right, and difficulty in terms of recording. So so realizing these problems, my boss, Dr. Fadlina, which was the HOD at the time, she said, Zuhairi, can you do something about this? Can we think of a solution? So I come up with this, my CPU project. This was in 2019. I'm sorry, it's very hideous design. I was still early in my development career at the time. So, but the app gets the job done. We have our own integrated Google Map service. So instead of having to know the address, the locations are pinned in the Google Map. Just click the patient, you get the location. Settle number one. Number two, we have integrated WhatsApp system. We can directly WhatsApp the patient using our own dedicated department smartphone to contact them and let them know we are coming. Okay. Number three, we can record all the stuff like your usual his kind of thing, all the BPs and stuff are recorded while we do some visits. So this is quite a nice thing that we had done. And as you can see, all the patients are quite happy because now the service is more accessible. Patients get well, they get their medications, no relapses, no aggressive behavior at home. Everything is fine. So quite happy. Patients are happy, caregivers are happy. So this innovation won the Sabah State Innovation in the overall category 2019. And also led me to be given the Best Practice Award by the Malaysian Psychiatric Association in 2020. But unfortunately, because of COVID-19, we cannot proceed to do home visits and the project kind of went into a halt. Hopefully, maybe next year we can restart the project. However, anyway, my CPU has inspired me to keep building apps. So another app in 2020 I built was Pocket Psych. It was really just a simple reference app for psychiatric trainee like me. I have my own notes. I said, why not I make this into an app? So I did. So this is a very simple Android app that displays all the important notes for a psychiatric trainee to learn. Oops. So changing. Okay, thank you. So the next app is in 2020 also. I built an app for Android and iOS, also using Flutter. As you can see, if I build a Flutter app, I can deploy to two platforms. In this case, Android and iOS. This is an experimental app and still in development. This is basically an app we're trying to replace the buku pink that you see in the antenatal clinic, right? So why not we change it into a form of digital version? Less paper, more environmental friendly, and the patient won't be worried about losing their book again because everything is in the phone. Okay? Because I think we are less likely to lose our phone than our book, right? Isn't it? Okay, all right. Okay, and then I went back to Semenanjung. I got an offer from UiTM to become the psychiatric trainee here. And when I went back to KL, and I started to form more collaboration with other organizations. So as part of my training, I have to be posted to Selayar Hospital for my child psychiatry posting. So I was posted to a unit called the Mekar unit in Selayar Hospital. It's a special unit for child and adolescent cases. Okay? those child with eating disorders, anorexia nervosa, bulimia, child abuse, this kind of thing, those poor children. So it's put under this unit called Mekar unit. So while I was in Mekar, I noted they had some issues between following up their patients. Because of this, all this manual work I've kept mentioning, they tend to lose some patients. They forget to contact some patients didn't come in or not coming at the right time. So we're thinking we have to build a certain kind of, to make sure that the patients are monitored carefully. So I developed this app for a period of 2 months while I was there. So as you can see on the left side is how the app looks like in the web version. Okay? On the right side is how it looks like on the phone. So it's interrelated and everything is there. So the staff know exactly when the patient last come, what was their weight. Because anorexia patients, they tend to have this, you have to monitor their weight carefully. So we record everything in the app and everything went smoothly. And this app is still in use for staff in Selayang Hospital until today. And then in 2022, earlier this year, my friend Dr. Edri from UIM, he's a public health specialist, he reached out to me. He said something about they wanted to build a custom My Sejahtera for students of IUM in Kuantan, Islam Antarabangsa Kuantan. So I went to Kuantan and met up with him and his team. So we brainstormed about the app and we built an app called Detect. Okay, this is very basic because they have very low budget. Okay, but as you can see, it's a dedicated app for COVID only for that community. So if say a student was found to be positive COVID, what will happen? They have to take a bus, go to a quarantine center or sort. They can be contacted and everything. So it's just a simplified version of MySejahtera, but dedicated for this particular population. And Dr. Edri has been kind enough to invite me to join in his studies, and they are publishing some papers about this app as well. And in 2022, this app called Flexmind, okay, was built by a group of psychiatrists and psychologists in my current workplace in UiTM. They call themselves as Squad Peduli Minda. Flexmind is like your typical mental health app. If you've seen in the iOS, maybe you have seen some kind of this app, right? But we are tailoring it for Malaysian population. So this is still in active testing. In this app, we have a lot of mood diaries, suicide prevention, self-harm prevention, gratitude journal, videos, relaxation videos, deep breathing, DAS 21, you name it, everything is there. So it's going to be released probably early next year. So this was one of the projects that we get the grant from university to work on. So as you can see, it's quite nice actually. The design has evolved over the years, I think. Okay. And the most recent one I want to share with you today is an app called PsySensors. Okay. This is an app I built for my department currently. Basically, it's an app to track all the cases we see in our setting. How many patients were in ED? How many patients in our clinic? What happened to them? What was our waiting time in clinic looks like? All these numbers, which the office, the administrative staff will always require from us. So we have all this sorted out in our app, so our staff don't have to track manually, don't have to use any book, everything just key it into the app. So save time, save money, less stress, everyone is happy. So just to sum up just a bit of I've shared with you today, so all these apps I've developed for the past 3 years, it has been a fruitful journey for me, to be honest. I learned a lot. Some apps require me to focus more on the animations, on the UI, user experience. Some apps require me to focus more on data safety, some more on, for example, backend, server side, cloud management. So all apps have been helping me to learn more. So I learned through building apps actually, rather than keep going through tutorials and stuff. Just build something and you will learn something out of it, definitely. And also I had the chance to become some roles in terms of course instructor. So late last year, I was invited by Jabatan Alam Sekitar Putrajaya to conduct a 3 days coding class and app workshop for the IT staff in Putrajaya. So they just built a new app, so they want me to teach about the app. And that's about it. And then here was quite interesting. What you see here is not medical students here. They are all computer science students in UiTM. So they are advanced learners. They know how to code. They know about all this stuff. But in terms of hybrid development, it's still quite new technology. So they invited me to fill that gap. So I was honored enough to teach them a one-day intensive course on Flutter and development. So it was quite an interesting event as well. So as you can see, my career has been going from building apps into teaching, and opportunities keep coming in for me. And also, I also did a lot of online classes invited by various companies to do some coding classes as well. So what I've said earlier is not to brag, maybe 10% bragging. I can't deny that. But I want to tell you that you and I, all the doctors here, you all can become good programmers, definitely. Why? This is all your features, right? You are all excellent self-learners. You know how to survive. Consultant comes in at 10, you forgot to review one patient, for some reason you survive. For some reason. Especially if more senior, right? When your first poster, you come at 4:30 in the morning. Your last poster, you come at 7. Finish everything in half an hour. Legend, okay? You all have logical thinking. You know, when patient comes to you, what to do. No? Take BP, emergency, what to do. You know, you have all this logical thinking. You know what? If you want to become a programmer, it's not about the coding. It's about having the logical thinking is very important, because when you structure your app, coding comes later. It's about the architecture is very important. What happens in the beginning? What happens if this like that? What happens? You structure everything carefully first, discuss with your team, then only you will start coding. That's how it works. You just simply just straight away code. Just like if you want to write a book, right? You structure all the chapters first, what you want to talk about, only then you start writing, right? Same like building an app. And you guys are creative, you have good problem solving skills, you have ability to simplify solutions, productive, work 36 hours non-stop, still can survive, play badminton some more after that, hardworking. These are all features. These features can be useful when it comes to programming. In fact, you don't have to all these features phone, in fact, to be honest. Just need to have some passion, some interest, and you guys can code, definitely. So I would say, the learning curve is steep in terms of learning how to program. But when you get to the flatter side of learning coding, it can be gratifying, very gratifying, because you have the power not to hack other people, but the power to build whatever you want to do. You can earn some money, you can build something for your family even, build some app for your children. It's very interesting and it's very fun thing to do. So if you are interested to code, I have a booth set at the end there. Okay, we have some games going on. You guys want to try on coding? If you guys want to discuss about app development, if you have some projects to discuss, or if you want to learn how to code also, you can approach our booth at the left end there. Okay. So and that's it. Thank you so much.